and welcome to the Woman's Cave or the Writer's Class. You know, we have four podcasts. You never know where this will pop up. It might pop up everywhere. I lie. It will not pop up everywhere. That's a lot of space in my cloud to be used. I'm sorry. Let me actually tell you who I am, because I forget to introduce myself. I am Winona, and I'm missing a Jade today, but that's okay. We're gonna not rock and roll this out anyway. Before I finish, I just want to remind everyone, or remind myself, dang, I look cute. Sorry about that. We wrote books. Me, Jade, and the rest of the ladies that write with us wrote books, literary life guides for pop poetry. They are. And I thought divorce was bad. And I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse. And then our other audio books are The Widow's Wed, Widow's Debt, and Foreign Coffee. Those are only our audio books, and you can find those at www.andithoughladies.com. That's also where you can find the rest of our 17 books. Some days I'm like, I think I wrote too much in 3 years. That's ridiculous. Anyway, you're not here to hear about me, which is sad because I love to talk about me. I mean, look how cute I am. You know, you want to hear more. You're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rayne, contemporary romance author of indie published titles and traditionally published author of historical romance. I am a bookworm all my life, so I'd rather read the book than see the movie. But if you want me to see the movie, all you gotta do is put Dwayne Johnson in it, and I'm there. Other than that, if I'm not writing or reading, then I'm playing track mom to 2 collegiate daughters, one of whom is a 5-time All-American.
Yeah, I know you proud. You raised it. You're like, yeah, look at my daughter, 5-time All-American. That's from me, my side of the family.
I'm claiming it.
Yes, you got to. So quickly, can you tell us, how did you get started writing? I mean, as an avid reader, I assume most people jump because that's how I started. But how did you start?
Same way, avid reader, wrote a lot from elementary school, middle school. English language arts was my favorite, foreign languages as well. So writing, reading is just what I did. And then in high school, I had a friend who read romance novels all the time. I hadn't found romance yet. And I made fun of her. I'd be like, what you reading that for? Why don't you try this thriller? You know, here's a horror book, because I'd gotten into Stephen King. And she's like, have you ever read one? And I had to admit, well, no. So she said, well, if I pick one for you, will you read it? I agreed. And she handed me Shauna by Kathleen Woodiwiss, which is a historical romance. And Kathleen Woodiwiss basically created the romance genre doing historical romance. And I pretty much was hooked. So when I sat down to write a novel, for me, it was natural to go to romance because I love romance.
I have to say, first of all, I applaud you. That's amazing. First, that you were reading and you started off with thriller. Everybody I know started off, that's a female, started off with romance. Even some guys started off with romance that I know. Right. It was a good story. I really got into it. You're like, all right, then. So that's amazing.
I still love a good thriller. I still love a good thriller.
I do. My nerves are shot though now. So like every time I read one, I get real scared of the dark everywhere.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, that guy's gonna kill me. I know it. Oh my word, this is a huge.
I guess you don't read horror then, because that's like.
I read a pseudo horror book. It kept me up for so many nights. Okay, because it seems like it's a horror book.
What's a pseudo horror book?
It seems like it's a horror book. It does. And then by the time you get to the end, you recognize that it's all based in real life, and the entire thing was kind of like just done. It wasn't like a supernatural, paranormal kind of really horror book. The whole thing was done to cover up this huge elaborate plot. And the whole time you're like, oh my God, he's gonna come back. Oh my God, he's gonna come back. And then like you're done and it's like, oh, I get it. Okay, sorry about that. I talked about me, but I am the narcissist. So you gotta expect that. How did you find your agent, and what do you like about being traditionally published?
I am actually a retired lawyer. So when I opted to go traditional, I did not use an agent. I went indie on purpose because when I first started looking at being traditionally published, it was sort of on the beginning edge of the indie publishing curve. And if you wanted to be traditionally published, a lot of gatekeepers, a lot of this isn't your space stuff. And basically what was going on in publishing, I felt strongly, I'm not giving you the copyrights in my stories for what you're offering me. And I'm an intellectual property lawyer, so I knew what was what in that vein. So I totally bowed out of the traditional rat race of trying to get published, trying to get an agent. I went through the pitches, I did all that. And then last year, I started going to writer conferences again. And so we were in the midst of Black Lives Matter and all of the bringing marginalized people into all kinds of spaces, the Oscars, publishing, television, what we weren't doing. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to try this again with people who seem to be truly wanting my story, my stories featuring characters who look like me, this is the time. But I was very particular about finding someone entrepreneur-based because I work a lot with business owners and entrepreneurs. So I only talk to publishers who would accept submissions without an agent because I wasn't ready to go there yet. And I knew I could negotiate the deal myself. So I actually got my deal by pitching to an editor at the end of the RSJ convention of 2020. And sorry about that. In a building with bells. And so I'm not currently agented. And at this point, what I have on tap for my career for the next 12 to 18 months, I'm not looking for an agent. Once I finish certain books under the contracts I'm under and I'm ready to go to the next level, I may go look again.
I'm loving this. I love the fact that you decided not to have an agent, which is funny because I honestly, you're talking about the RSJ conference, and we were there this year. That's how we met you. Hi.
Shout out to RSJ, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. So first time I ever pitched an agent in my life, and the agent was like, okay, so why do you want to pitch an agent? And I was like, I don't. I just thought, what the heck? It's here. But it's one of the reasons is because of intellectual property. So what do you think is really important that authors should know? We say this all the time. Okay, I'm gonna be a little narcissistic before I ask your question. I'm sorry. Here I go again. So we, as a group, we say this all the time, is that every word that you write is part of your intellectual property.
Okay.
And so because we write poetry, what we're writing is sayings, wise sayings that you can put on shirts, mugs, television, tennis shoes. You can actually sell them, lease them out for commercials. You have so much in your intellectual property in your book that you should definitely think about it. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I was wondering if you could tell us the top 3 things that we should think about before signing a contract, knowing that most of those words are our own intellectual property.
Because once you sign that contract, they are going to have an exclusive right to distribute that story for a fixed period of time. You have to be certain you understand what that length of time is and put parameters around it. So I've seen authors sign a contract, turn in a book, finish it, get it edited, and then all of a sudden the publishing company never releases it. And they have to wait years and years and years. They can't submit it, they can't publish it themselves because they don't have a provision in the contract that says if you don't publish it within a certain amount of time, I get it back. Everybody's got to know, when can you get your stuff back? That's very, very important. The other thing to think about is what you truly can and can't protect by copyright. So I'm gonna burst your bubble a little bit here, okay? In that
when I said it, I saw your face and I was like, oh.
Short sayings and expressions cannot be protected by copyright. Now, if there's something you're using to brand yourself and they've risen to a slogan, then you're going to protect that with trademark. but you can't protect short phrases, which is why there are songs out there that have the same title and books with the same title, because you can't protect the name of a title, okay? And one of the things I think a lot of authors don't realize is they really don't understand what is a copyright, what does it protect, what do I really own, and what am I giving away, okay? And I encourage authors to figure that out. You need to understand what are copyrights, what are trademarks, what are merchandising rights, and what are grand rights. What are these rights? Everybody's talk about, they want their romance novel to be a Netflix series, right? After Bridgerton, everybody's going Netflix, right? Or Hulu. We want somebody to make our stuff into a movie and put it on a streaming service, right? Well, that's separate from the book publishing rights. And I believe every author should understand those basics. And you don't have to become an IP lawyer, right? But you can't rely on just your agent to understand the contract. It's your property. You have to understand what you are or aren't giving away, because then that helps you decide whether or not you want to enter into a contract. When you realize what you're giving up and what you're keeping, then you can say, yes, I want this, or no, I got to walk away.
It's very, very important. And I love that you told us about this. Again, one short story for me. I remember when the first 3-book contract that I decided to sign, I literally asked to have it sent over and the ability to change it the way I wanted it to. So I literally went line by line, scratch stuff out and rewrite this, rewrite that. I want to keep this. I don't want to keep that. You can have that. So I think what they got was the characters for 5 years, the characters and the story rights for about 5 years. And then it came back to me. And I ended up in your situation where I turned in the book and everything, but it never happened. So I was happy to have them back. All right. You seem to be a little busy. So can you tell us a bit about your new book, where we can find it as well, and why we should read it?
Okay, my new book is actually not out yet, but it's available for pre-order. So go out and find where you buy your books, pre-order it. It's called Never Cross a Highlander. It is the story of a Black Highlander who, don't give away too much, but in essence, he has a secret life where he goes around freeing people enslaved in Scotland. And it's not that there's lots of us there, but there were some of us, right? And encounters a woman who he saves, who doesn't want to be saved, and there's a story there. So they end up in conflict, and he's got to travel with her back to the Highlands, and she's no wilting flower, okay? So I like to tell people, think of it as a cross between, it's a little bit like Dirty Harry in a kilt, with a Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibe, because the woman he's with, she's got her own thing going. And it's just the story of what happens as they figure out why she was at the castle and why she didn't want to be saved. And I think it's a really fun story. And it just inspired by a little bit of research I did, because one of the first things people ask me, right? There weren't Black people in medieval Scotland. Yeah, there were. There were Black people everywhere in the medieval times, right? The African diaspora, it went further than the US colonies, the Caribbean and Portugal. So it covers Scotland. And so we have these people, and he has a clan, and he's commander of the army. He's kind of a badass, right? It's like, either you do what I say, you do right, or I kill you kind of vibe going on. And then I sprinkle a little romance in. So I like to think of it as sort of like an action adventure romance. So if you like action adventure buddy movies that have that little bit of romance thrown in, that's kind of the feel we're talking about when we talk about this book.
Okay, this sounds like a book I'm going to definitely have to listen to. When's the audiobook coming out? I'm going to definitely pre-order. I'm going to read it. I'm going to pre-order. I can't wait to listen to it, because I know you have those audio rights.
So look at that cover. It's like, I have nothing against ebooks, but this is one, if you ever buy physical books, you want this cover on your shelf. because the cover artist did a brilliant job with that cover.
She did a great job. That is a gorgeous cover. I keep looking, I'm like, oh, you're right, that's a Black guy. Because you're expecting it to be a Caucasian Highlander. You're like, no, it's a Black guy. Well,
yeah, no, first Black Highlander. So everybody got to give me some love.
Yes.
Buy this book.
Oh my goodness. So
where can they buy this book though?
She already said it's pre-ordered.
You can pre-order it anyway. Is that AJ?
That is Jade. Yeah.
Jade. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So what website can we go ahead and click that pre-order button on?
Obviously Amazon, but I mean, if you're a Barnes and Noble person, it's out there, it's wide, it's being released by Entangled Publishing. So it's everywhere you can get a book printed by them. I intentionally went with them because we have a marketing plan and a business plan for this book that, we're just really excited about.
I'm just like, I am always blown away.
Is it going to be a series? I have to ask.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh
yes, it will be a series. So there will be a book 2. So, but you got to buy a lot of book 1s or, because this isn't my book. So this is not indie. Like I normally publish, I don't care how many I say I'm going to publish by series, but it's a traditionally published book. And traditional publishers, they're not going to put out book 2 if we don't sell book 1. So everybody got to go buy book 1 so they know you want a book 2.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
Thank you so much. I mean, you have been so educational. I have learned so much about intellectual property. And for all of you guys who missed it, she rocked it at the RSJ conference. It was so beautiful. Yes, I took so many notes. I have stuff to work on. I'm a little sad about
we got to set ourselves up. It's a business. I love to write. And I'm an artist, right? So I do it for the love but no author writes a story that they want nobody to read. So, I wrote this story and it was fun and I love the characters, but people got to buy the book. So, or else I'm gonna be really sad. And I just,
oh my goodness, it's so true. It's so true. So y'all go out, pre-order her book. If you're not going to pre-order, wait for it to drop and then go ahead and buy the book. Or if you're going to be like me, pre-order it, wait for it to drop, buy another one, and then when it gets the audiobook, use my credit.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm definitely supporting this book.
Okay. And it's mass market paperback, so it will also be in stores. So if you're somebody who would rather, go to like Target and Walmart kind of cornering the market right now, but it will be in stores as well for those of you who like to pick up your mass market paperback off the shelf.
Nice. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great. I'm so excited about this. So can you tell where people can find out more about you and follow your writing career and get ready for book 2?
All right. I have a website, lisarayne.com. That's where I'm housing all my stuff. Don't look at how it looks right now because it's kind of old and looking not as modern, but I am revamping it, but I had to finish the book first. But that'll be the home base for everything on the website, lisarayne.com. And on social media, I have recently decided Instagram is going to be my primary platform. So really to follow me and see what's going on, they can follow me on Instagram using @AuthorRayne. And I love that platform, and I'll be building on there, as well as I recently started a club on Clubhouse. It's called Show Me the Romance, and it's a club designed for cross-cultural connections so that we can help each other sell more books. So anyone interested in romance and the mainstream distribution of romance featuring characters of color by authors of color can find me on Clubhouse at Show Me the Romance.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to wrap us up for today. I'm Winona, and you can find out everything that your ladies are up to. That would be Winona and the Missing Jade today at www.andithoughladies.com. When you go to there, please go down to the middle of the page because it's the bottom of the page. Ha! The older website is the middle. And ithoughladies.com, you go down to the bottom of the page and you can see the charities that we proudly support. Please support them too. This is especially hard, after recovering from the whole COVID incident and everything. They definitely need your support. Please remember, everyone, that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So please and love you guys from Winona and
Lisa.
Oh, well done. And the Missing Jade. Bye-bye.